Hello everyone, my name is Trickster Fox, and this is going up on my main channel instead of my Let's Play channel, which is my second channel, simply because this is really just a new recording method that I am trying out. What I'm using to record this is a program called Debut Video Capture Software by NCH. The trial version, of course, is free to download, and I believe the discounted price for getting a license is $25. I may get it in the future, but I'm a bit skeptical about how that may or may not work. So we're going to see how well this works. Going to put in our name before starting this test recording. And in case you haven't figured out already, the game you're seeing on screen at the moment is the PlayStation version of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Journey back to 1792 and the Transylvanian countryside of Romania. Get this soon-to-be CG rendering of Dracula's castle before the game starts. As far as I know, no other version of this game has this scene, unless the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation Network and PlayStation Store versions are basically just an emulated version of this version of Symphony of the Night. Because I know for a fact that because I actually have this on Xbox Live Arcade, after you put in your name and everything, it just cuts straight to the stage itself. It doesn't have this little bit that you're seeing right now. And of course the loading screens are a little bit longer than in the digital versions. Do not believe what that said, this is not the final stage. If you're familiar with Rondo of Blood, this is essentially recreating the final battle of that game. And this is why we are Richter Belmont. Now, what I like to do for this upcoming fight that we're going to have with Dracula, avoid this candle, but get the other ones because they have hearts. And basically all you gotta do is max out the number of hearts you have. At least that's what I like to do. If I can there we go. But before we continue doing that, let's go up here and get some collectibles. Because I discovered recently that these were here. And if you try to come back here again, all of the items, hearts included, will respawn. Now getting Richter to run, basically what you do is you tap whatever direction you're making him go twice to make him run like this. And to do that uppercut move, you have to very quickly push down, then up, and then simultaneously push jump at the same time. And I'm going to be doing this until I reach the maximum amount of hearts. Now, if you're not familiar with Castlevania... Oops, sorry, I did not mean to do that. This is... The uppercut that I'm making Richter do, by the way, can be a little bit finicky. But essentially, for those of you wondering why I'm collecting so many hearts, it does not refill your health. Because in Castlevania, that's not how it works. Depending on which Castlevania game you're playing, the hearts essentially refill whatever sub-weapon you hold. And I will be getting a sub-weapon in a little bit here. Yeah, trying to get Richter to do the uppercut, it's doable, but it's very finicky. But right now I'm just trying to max out the number of hearts I have. Just going back and forth like this. This can be really difficult to do with my thumb. Alright, now that I have the max number of hearts, let's just face Dracula here and get ready for some of the funniest voice acting you'll ever hear in this game.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world.
It was not by my hand that I'm once again given flesh. I was called here by humans who wish to pay me tribute.
Tribute? You steal men's souls and make them your slaves.
Perhaps the same could be said of all religions.
Your words are as empty as your soul. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. How about you?
Alright, boss time. Oh, immediately, Hydrostorm. The way you make that work is that you have to have the holy water equipped, obviously. Oh, whoa, whoa. Then he goes into his second phase. Wait for him to go into his creature form. Then immediately go to the other side so he can't get to you. Use Hydrostorm again.
No, it cannot be!
Okay, I didn't know Dracula was such a sore loser. But yeah, basically I was able to get through that little boss fight unscathed. It was Richter Belmont, the legendary vampire hunter, who succeeded in finally ending the menace of Count Dracula, lord of the vampires who had been brought back from the grave by the Dark Priest Shaft. No, not that Shaft. However, one night 4 years later, under the glare of a full moon, Richter mysteriously vanished. With no idea of where to begin her search, Maria Renard set out to look for him. It was then that fate intervened. Castlevania, the Castle of Dracula, which is rumored to appear once every century, every 100 years, suddenly materialized from out of the mist as if to show her the way. Meanwhile, powerful forces were struggling for the soul of a man named Alucard, the very same Alucard who had teamed up with Trevor Belmont from Castlevania 3 to battle his immortal father, Count Vladimir Tepish Dracula. Alucard, in order to purge the world of his own cursed bloodline, had submerged his vampiric powers and entered into what was supposed to be an eternal slumber. But now he is awake and aware of the evil once again at work at his homeland. The time has once again come for the forces of good and evil to engage in their ancient battle. Dracula's castle beckons for you, and no man can say who shall emerge victorious. So yeah, there is a reason why if you really want to, you can beat Dracula without getting hurt, but even if you do lose your entire bit of health with that Dracula fight, don't worry about it. Richter can't die because it's a tutorial segment. But basically, depending on how well you do in the Dracula boss fight, it basically determines the stats for Alucard, who is going to be the main character for the rest of the game. Because believe it or not, this is the first time a Castlevania game, an entry in the Castlevania series, has had a direct sequel, with the exception of Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest being a direct sequel to the original Castlevania, obviously. But of course, another exception would be Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge on the Game Boy being a direct sequel to the Castlevania Adventure on the original Game Boy. And in many ways, Belmont's Revenge is better than that game is. And it's also one of the only Castlevania games I can think of where hearts basically restore your health. And we got an item we can hold on to. And in case you've been living under a rock for the last couple of years, last couple of decades, I should say, once we start playing as Alucard, the game becomes sort of a Metroidvania. Actually, it was the first game to have that term, Metroidvania, basically where you get to explore this big, non-linear style map of Dracula's castle as soon as I'm not getting my ass handed to me. Obviously taking inspiration from Nintendo's Metroid series, because Metroid was one of the first games to have a non-linear gameplay style. So it kind of makes Symphony of the Night a very important game for its time. And we're about to have some more conversation here.
Alucard, what is your business here?
I've come to put an end to this.
Still befriending mortals. I'll not ask you to return to our side, but I demand you cease your attack.
I will not.
You shall regret those words. We will meet again.
So yeah, that was the first time we ever heard Alucard speak. He will have other lines of dialogue throughout the rest of the game. Now, I would like to reiterate, this is not the first time that Alucard has appeared in the Castlevania series at all, and it's also not the first time he's been a playable character in said series. You'll notice, you might have remembered in the text scroll earlier that it said that Alucard had teamed up with Trevor Belmont. Trevor Belmont was the vampire hunter that you play as primarily in Castlevania 3 on the NES. At a certain point in the game you will come across Alucard and you can have him join you to fight Dracula. And because the Grim Reaper took away all our really powerful stuff, he may have had a good reason to do so simply because, you know, we can't start off overpowered. So basically this game is following the same rule set that the Metroid series has. Now basically the way these things work when you come across them, it has two functions actually. One of which is saving your game, and the other is refilling your health. But of course, I exited that room because I didn't want to save just yet. Also because I wanted to avoid that weapon that that one skeleton was holding. So now we're in the Alchemy Laboratory. And for the most part, at the moment, I will be using Alucard's fists to fight enemies, because while I do have a short sword that I can use, and some other swords we come across will have the same functionality and animation, we also just got a hide cuirass. That's not what I meant to do. Yeah, so once you pause the game, you can see it's also got RPG elements in it as well, which is pretty cool. We're going to go ahead and equip the hide cuirass, which ups our defense a little bit. But I'm not going to use the short sword just yet. It has better range, but it's a little slower in terms of attack speed. So for the moment, I'm going to stick to Alucard's fists. However, I will equip that leather shield to his left hand. And basically, whatever weapon Alucard has in his right hand, you can utilize with the square button. And whatever's in his left hand, you can use with the circle button. And as you can see, since I equipped the leather shield, which just looks like a cookie, I can use it by holding down circle. And basically what I'm doing here is doing what is called the backdash maneuver. Basically the way to execute this is with the triangle button. And of course, every now and again, because this is also part action RPG, not just Metroid-style game, if I remember where it is, I may need to backtrack just a little bit. Something you're going to be doing a lot in this game. But again, in that aspect, it's like Metroid, because in Metroid you do the same thing. But strangely enough, I've noticed that using his fist makes him slightly stronger than usual. And I did not mean to go that way, because that's not where I'm supposed to go. There's a certain thing I want to get, but I don't know if where I'm going is the right direction. I know it's before this mini-boss that we're about to come up to soon, if I get that far. Depends on how long this recording method I will be using for the moment is going to go for. Because again, I am using the trial version. I believe the discounted price for the moment is $25, which isn't bad, but I don't have the money to afford it right now. And I did not mean to go backwards like that. Get rid of that skeleton. Gotta resist thunder. Okay, I think here's where I was supposed to go. Of course, I gotta be careful with touching enemies, because obviously you don't want to do that. So go ahead and move this crate to this right side of spikes. Use it as a platform to get up here. Then you'll come across this corridor and just make your way up and to the left. Get hearts from these candles, and you'll get the cloth cape. Immediately equip it, because it also ups your defense by a little bit. And we're going to need about as much defense as we can possibly get before we get to the first mini-boss of this game. And I forgot to set those down, but not that it matters too much. And in case you are wondering, by the way, you can punch the axes to make them go away before they hurt you, which is pretty cool, I would think. There we go. Now I have to be careful here because usually these guys can be a bit of a pain to fight. As soon as they come down, just waiting for the one on the right. Oh, motherfucker. Huh, now I got you both. But yeah, you'll notice that because I equipped the cloth cape, it obviously changes Alucard's look and appearance. Because the cape that Alucard was wearing was originally black, but now it is red. And we're about to enter the first boss, mini-boss fight. But before we do that, want to make sure to put this pot roast to good use first, because I don't want to die just yet. Oh, it just puts him back at empty-handed. That's nice. And of course, there's not one but two mini-bosses, and it is the combination of Slogra and Gaibin. That's right. The two bosses you encounter before facing the Grim Reaper in Super Castlevania 4. and I'm just getting through with the daggers to get rid of both Slogra and Gaibin. Slogra is the bird-like skeleton with the spear, and Gaibin is the purple demon flying around and carrying Slogra. And I'm not going to use any more knives to deal with Slogra, but I will for Gaibin. And as you can see there, you can use the shield to block his fire breath projectiles. Of course, you want to be careful, though you are still very much safe from his fireball attacks. His fire breath attacks, I should say. I can take as much damage as he can give. And you are dead. Because it just goes to show that Simon Belmont was not the only character in Castlevania to face these two. But we have more health now, and I do believe somewhere around here... Actually, no, I want to wait to get to the next area before saving, for the time being. And yeah, every now and again, enemies will drop money. There is a good reason why we are collecting as much money as possible. And apparently it's measured in American currency. Yeah, whatever. Alright, just continue going this way. And that is about as much blood and gore as we would get, for the time being, anyway, from a Castlevania game. And that's just happening by me punching the shit out of these guys. Don't want that jewel. I'm gonna keep the knife for now. Ow, son of a bitch. Okay, it turns out I'm not very good at this. Ow. Try and overwhelm me, will you? Okay, you got me. Sometimes I forget I have the shield as well, so I gotta keep that in mind when fighting these guys. And yeah, there is the obvious trick of using the backdash to get around faster, because it is faster than the default running speed of Alucard when he moves. Or for Alucard when he moves, not of. And we're in the next area of the castle, which is the Marble Gallery. And here is where I switch out the knife for the holy water, which is actually pretty effective against certain enemies. But I don't think we'll be getting that far this time around. Again, this is meant to be a recording test for what I may or may not use in the future to record off of emulators and stuff like that. Or at least for the EPSXE emulator, which is a PlayStation emulator. And I want the holy water. Thank you. Okay. I believe here's another save point. And now I'm going to go ahead and save. And as I said before, it also refills your health to its maximum, but not the amount of hearts that you have currently. Like, it just, that stays where it is. So, I'm going to stop here for now with this. Again, it's just testing out this recording method to see how well it'll look and run. And yeah, I'm just going to stop it now. Thanks for watching.